What's going on, ladies and gentle dudes? My name is Sean. People on the internet call me Spumwack, and today we are playing around in the Mod Sauce world. You see, I've still got my little airship. If you didn't watch last episode's airshipping with Zul'jin and Monkey Farm, I really think you should do that right now, because we go over building, you know, how we built these airships, but also it was just a really good time. Anyways, this is actually the first episode of the series that I'm doing solo, so I feel like it's like the official, you know, sort of... Oh, that's weird that the camera's doing that. I feel like this is the first official, like, welcome to the series, welcome to my little base. I actually spent a lot of time in between these last episodes building this. I sort of wanted to get you up to speed on it a little sooner, but I was feeling kind of sick this last week. My girlfriend, look at the lighting when I do that. It's so weird. I was feeling kind of sick this last week. Like, not really sick. I don't know, just sort of like out of it. And I didn't feel like it was good time to be recording, but I was still playing and messing around. And since I am finally sort of over that, I would like to just give you a little tour of my base, some of the stuff I've built, some of the farms I have, some of the mods I've been using, as well as give you a little overview of some of the mods I plan on going over in the near future. Let me just go ahead and park my boat right down here, and we'll go ahead and get off. I don't even want to unship it. We can just push this around. Just push, just pushing around our airship. So I happen to need wool pretty badly. I didn't put any dirt right here, which means you guys can't regrow. That's sad. Scoop out the way. And I didn't bring any meat with me either, so nah, I can still shear them. So this is, as you can tell, my little sheep farm. I probably need to be moving them sometime in the very near future. I have a rather pressing need for wool for many of my mods, actually. Can I just get... Okay, no. But for many of the things that I'm going to be using for it, really seems like I need to be getting wool or string, and you can throw wool in a macerator in this mod to get string, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. But I've got these here fancy trees. They may not look like much to you, but they mean a little bit to me. I'm going to grab a few leaves from each tree, because all of the leaves break down into saplings, or not into saplings, but they don't give you the block form, and I don't know if you actually can use the block form of these for anything, so I kind of want to check. Yeah, so you can. Botania, totemic, industrial... Oh, it looks like just all normal leaves, I think, is what this is telling me, right? No? No, that's mariculture, uses alder leaves with witchery, and rowan leaves, also sifter. Interesting. So, it doesn't look like witchery actually uses these leaves, so it's not the biggest deal in the world, but I've got the Wooderator. I've been playing around in Tinker's Construct. I had to go through a lot of levels of materials to craft the Wooderator, but the good thing about this, if you're unfamiliar, is the Lumberjack axe from Tinker's Construct works like the axes from Terraria. You just smack a tree... There's multiple... Hold on. Did I get all 4 types of the... I guess it doesn't matter. I don't need all 4 types. Anyways, all you gotta do is smack the very bottom log, and the tree comes tumbling down. Normally the leaves are supposed to come down too, but I think it's still connected to this tree, so let's cut you down. And some of the leaves went down. Let's just knock all of them out. Anyways, the reason these specific trees are special, there we go, is because you can't actually find them in the world. Same with the ember moss we have right here, and same with the glintweed. You have to basically use the witchery mod to transform existing plants into these things, and then they can start growing off one another. So I just sort of wanted to show where I shouldn't have done that. You gotta use shears on these things. I just ruined a whole bunch of them. It's upsetting. Oh well. I still only had one when I planted these things, so we've definitely still made a profit. And let's make sure I get the last of my logs and stuff before I start showing you the inside of the old homestead. You got everything, got all the saplings, got all the rowans, and the alders, and the hawthorns. That's all used for assorted witchery things. Same with the ember moss and the glintweed. So we're saving that, we're holding on that for a while. And before I go into any more depth on what I want to do with witchery, I would like to show you my skyport, because I am really pleased with how it turned out. We've got my little airship right here, and I feel like Final Fantasy IX if you remember, they had the airship and they went into the town and they had, I don't know if they actually had, yeah, they had like a whole bunch of like really tall skyport type buildings. So that's sort of where I got the inspiration for this. It's sort of on its way to becoming steampunky. Not quite yet, but I plan on using a lot of metal and gadgetry and fancy lights and stuff for the skyport, but this is just the baby stages. And right now, the sole purpose of this skyport is just to house this ship of mine, which is not even going to be my main airship. This is simply... Okay, I gotta dismount to make sure I'm going straight in every single time. This is basically my adventuring ship. My little transport ship whose only job is really to transport goods back to base. So we go ahead and slap down the pressure plates, and you can see it opens up our iron gates automatically. And then we slowly start riding into the base right here. Real pretty looking. And we have to actually make sure to not touch any walls, because I have not had the resources to build shore buffers yet. Which means if this thing touches any walls and we disassemble it, then it tries to reassemble with the stone that's right here, and it ruins the ship, basically. So we gotta be really careful how we park this thing, but it's parked nice and neatly right there. And we have got Spumwax Workshop, because that's basically all this is. I'd like to think I'm gonna be more of a nomad, but you do have to have a home base, so that you can have a little spot to actually make your tools, like all my Tinker's tools that I have. So this is the interior of the old base. We've got some fruit right here. You can see I've actually been using a lot of it. I've been eating berry medleys. The only downside of berry medleys is that you have to have, and you don't need to use a tool to do that, by the way. I just do it because it's easier. Although there's a bug with Tinkers where it throws down torches like that, which is kind of frustrating. Or not torches, but just the last solid that you had selected. Or any block you had selected, I guess, not just solid. Anyway, so I've got my little fruit farm here. Let's do a quick run of all these mallow-berries, because you can make a fruit medley using mallow-berries, blackberries, blueberries, and raspberries, I think, are the options. And I've actually just remodeled the place. I can't get to my raspberries anymore. Let's just cut this down. You know, we don't really need mallowberries. Can we get... Yeah, we can save this with shears. Neat. So we don't have to ruin the whole thing. We'll just start where we left off. Start over here, get our raspberries back. And that's really all I needed to continue the fruit medley. We'll save the rest of this. I'll fix it later. I just want to sort of show you guys around right now and remake another fruit medley. So we take our bowls right there. Let's throw in some raspberries, some blueberries, some mallowberries, and some blackberries. Bam. A whole bunch more fruit medleys. Throw away the spares, and then we can talk about what we got going on in here. So, we got a lot. We got a lot going on in here. I really suck at organization, as you can tell. I really just threw this place together, like, not ever expecting for this to be a permanent home. But, of course, it just started becoming more and more permanent as I spent more time here and building more stuff that needed to get done. And, like, this is all... this was all just the inside of a mountain that I just blocked off with cobblestone and lit up so that I could have more room. And now there's just so much room. There's so much room for activities. So we've got the basic smeltery. I'm sure if you have ever worked with Tinker's Construct, then you know how this works. You got a little smeltery thing here. You can get your ingots that way, or if you so desire, you can just throw it down in here to make a block of iron inside this basin. You gotta give it a second to cool off, but it does its job. We've got a whole bunch of Spanish moss, which is, again, another thing from Witchery that I'm trying to farm. So we've got a whole bunch of it, and I keep screwing that up, actually. These are all the Tinker stables we have down here. And then off to this side, I've got a fairly simple little chicken farm. Let me show you this. We've got 2 chickens just up there in a piece of water dropping their eggs right here, because it turns out eggs are a vital requirement for Mutandis, which is a witchery requirement for getting new types of... Ooh, let's just harvest this real quick. For getting new types of witchery stuff. So, what I plan on doing with witchery in the future, that literally dropped 0 saplings. 0 saplings. That's frustrating, because spruce is also used for witchery. You can do a lot of cool stuff. You can make fancy potions. You can basically make voodoo dolls, but I'm not going to go into too much detail because some of the other hermits are watching this video, and voodoo dolls are great for griefing people and random PvP stuff. So if you want to do some research into it, then you can. But I'm going to keep relatively quiet until that moment actually comes, because it'll make for some really awesome trolling. So right here, this is a simple little IC2 setup. We've got a generator, which uses mostly charcoal. because the Wood Raider in conjunction with tall trees is a really good combination, actually. It's just so simple to get a ton of wood. It uses a lot of durability, but we have auto repair on these things because we used balls of moss on them. And then with this generator, if we give it power, it goes to either the extractor, which I've been using to extract rubber out of resin, or the macerator, which I got really tired of hand cranking my ores and turning them into dust. It was such a long process. So one of the first things I wanted to make was the macerator so that we could get 2 pieces of dust. So basically 2 pieces of iron per iron ore. And the only downside is that it turns into crushed iron ore, which does not vibe well with a Tinker's Construct smeltery. So you have to smelt those into iron ingots before you can throw them into the smeltery, when normal dust doesn't normally do that. So that's upsetting. Now, my next pride and joy is this little farm right here. This actually is going to be moved in the very near future. I need a lot more room for farming. And actually, let me go put away let me clean my inventory. Before I get back to the farm, I feel I should note, this area looks like it's just an incomplete base, sort of. But I know that there is a part of witchery. There's a certain altar, and the more naturey stuff you have around the altar, the more power it draws. You were there, Clay. You look ridiculous. So I may keep this area like it is, or possibly make it more naturey. I can't tell. I mean, I'm sure there is a way to just break it down into the different components of what makes an area naturey, and you can make the most powerful altar, but it seems to me this is like a nice safe spot, a nice safe closed-in area with a decent amount of nature around. So I may just keep this. I might even grow more stuff around here. Gotta find a way to make it look a little bit pretty, but this little stone block right here has to be here for reasons I'll show you in a moment. But first, let's talk about the farm and the different stuff. So, again, more witchery. We got water artichokes. I've also got cotton. I've been meaning to get cotton for a while because I've been doing crappy on the sheep. Got snowbell, more witchery, and the thing I really want to talk about is mandrakes. These things are crazy. I have to get my weapon out. I use a spear because if you look at the stats on a spear, I don't remember if it tells you or not. Yeah, it's got +1 reach. So that's really neat. You can basically attack from 2 blocks away, which is why I like to use this thing. And then I've got my shield for blocking, which has got all of its arrows stuck in it still. And I don't know if you notice, I've got the pickaxe in my head. That's a hat I found, and it's a reference to my old music video. I've got diamonds. Anyway, so the mandrake is fun. At nighttime, or at daytime. Let me just show you. See if it happens. There we go. We got a little mandrake who popped out. Look at him. Oh, he's so angry. He's so angry, and luckily we've got the Zelda mod to help with the targeting these guys because they're so fast, and I'm sorry if you get dizzy. You might want to close your eyes for a second because this is a pain every time. Supposedly, they have a much less chance of having mandrakes pop out of these things when you harvest them at night, but I have not really found that to be the case ever. I thought it had something to do with lighting, but even at nighttime, when I pop out all these torches and it's pitch black, there's still a ton of mandrake stuff. Well, not a ton, like, there we go. I mean, and during daytime, it's almost 100%, and it seems to be during nighttime the mandrakes pop out maybe 20% of the time. In this case, it seems to be like probably 50%, so this is very heavily mandraked. See, look, so that wasn't so bad. That was probably about 50%. Not so bad. So I'll replant the snowbell, we'll replant that 1 piece of wheat that I ruined, and replant all the mandrake, and that stuff is necessary for making, again, more witchery stuff. Throw down our snowbell seeds, our 1 piece of grass, and regather my cotton, which maybe I never gathered. And I'll get this stuff off camera in a moment. This doesn't do much. It's just basic crops, basic different types of crops. And this room that I'm about to show you is my pride and joy. Look at the map, too. Shabam! It's so gorgeous looking. This right here. This right here is my oreberry farm. A lot of people say oreberry isn't that great, and I have to disagree for a couple of reasons. And I will admit, it is sort of crappy for some other reasons. But anyways, oreberry bushes, when you right-click on them, used to give you 1 oreberry. Now they give you a handful. It's like, this one gave me 3, that one gave me 2, this one gave me 3, that one gave me 3. So basically, it gives you an oreberry, which translates to a nugget, basically. So each one gives you about 1/3 of an ingot. And I don't think that's terrible at all. when you consider the amount of time it takes to get, let's see, this is iron right here. We got 1, 2, 3. We just basically got an ingot of iron right there. It goes about as fast as instantly mining a piece of an iron ore. So you just run along here. We get mostly iron ore berry bushes, but then we've got essence berry down here. Now, essence berry does not turn into an ingot, but you can eat it to get experience like this, and you eat it really quickly, so like that. And you get a decent amount too. Like that's level 31 of experience. That is not bad. That is I don't want to eat these. I want to be gathering right now. So the iron is good. The essence berry is good. The problem is the gold and the tin and the copper, I think. Maybe not the tin, maybe not the copper, but the tin, they're kinda crap. Because copper is really plentiful, and let me just gather all this up before I show you what I mean. And if you were wondering why it's so dark in here, by the way, before we get started, it is because oreberry bushes only can be planted in the dark. I think they can handle a little bit of light, but I don't know. I just prefer to keep this place completely pitch black, and we've just got cobblestone slabs on the ground so that no monsters spawn in here. So it's a pretty fun little setup farm. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about, the basic benefits and downsides to oreberries that I've found thus far. So we've got copper oreberries here. Check it out. You throw them in a crafting table, and you can turn them into copper ingots. Neat stuff. We've got iron oreberries, which should be over here, actually. Again, you throw them in the crafting table, they turn into ingots. Neat stuff. We got 7. But then you get to essence berry. Again, experience. That's cool. So now tin, look at that. It does not craft immediately into ore, which kind of sucks. Same thing with aluminum, I do believe. Oh, no, aluminum actually does. So, awesome. Never mind. I was going to say, aluminum is actually kind of rare in the world. So, even if it didn't craft into an ingot, it would still be worth it, I think, to harvest aluminum oreberry bushes, because as of so far, I haven't actually smelted a whole lot of my oreberries. We've got 38 pieces of aluminum, no real pieces of aluminum dust, and 37? No, that's silver. 33? Yeah, so that, I mean, that's basically my lifetime supply of aluminum so far, is these 38 ingots, which really is not a lot compared to how much I have of other stuff. You can see how many diamonds I've collected so far. I've got 13 plus 29, so I've got 42 diamonds. I've got more diamonds than I have aluminum, and even so, I have grinded my aluminum before I turned it into ingot, so I have twice as much as I've found in the world, so it's kind of rare for whatever reason. So that's why I like to definitely stay up on my aluminum oreberries, so I can get these mariculture aluminum ingots. Again, same thing with the gold as with the tin. So you throw it down, and unfortunately it doesn't become anything. But again, gold is not super rare. I've got a decent amount of gold in here. You can see I've still got 5 ingots, but that's because I just threw the gold I had into the smeltery. We've got, 19 ingots worth of gold in there. We've got 12 worth of gold in there. So, you can see the amount of stuff I have. I mean, I'm fairly set up, I'm not at risk for anything. I'm basically at the point where I've got all my materials in place, and it is time to actually really start building stuff and having fun. So that's why I wasn't too concerned with not showing anything on camera, because this is what I consider basically the starting chores of a mod pack. Like, I was just basically getting food down, and I was getting a safe place to stay, and I was getting my farm set up, and after this is when we can really start messing around with stuff. So, that being said, I think what I'm going to do is play around a little bit more. Well, let me clean my inventory. So the last thing I would like to show you is my tools. My various tools that I have. What they do, why I have them, why I don't have better ones. Various things. So, let's check it out. This one, you can tell the wood erater, pretty obvious. It chops down entire trees at once. We've got it made out of cobalt. You can see when you hold shift, you can see repair material is cobalt. But we never actually are going to be repairing it because it's got moss auto repair on it. It's still got 4 modifiers left. You can see modifiers remaining 4. It's the 3rd line from the bottom, not counting attack damage. And I really don't know what I would put on this thing. If I did this again, I would make another wood erater, probably out of... I would add an auto smelting thing on it just so I can get charcoal from trees immediately without having to cook any more charcoal. But that's really the only thing I can see because it harvests really quickly, so I don't know why you would need a better one of these things. And And then we have the Luckinator. This one actually doesn't do much. This was designed... what is this called again? Yeah, it's just a bronze tool. The whole reason I had that was initially to just get diamonds. And then after that, I realized it wasn't entirely useless because I could still just start throwing lapis onto it to give it luck, which is basically the same as fortune, but it costs so much freaking lapis to get fortune on these things. It is a joke. It is a complete joke. You can see I've dumped 132 pieces of lapis into this thing, which is the same as fortune 1. That's so expensive. But since I really didn't have any decent enchanting table up at the time that I made this thing, I just sort of wasted it. But now I'm already invested. I may just throw the other 228 lapis necessary, or not. I may just... It depends. I don't know. I'm still debating whether or not I want to do that. But anyways, this was what I wanted to start getting more diamonds and more lapis so I could fund my lapis fueling. And this one right here is the Tunneler. That's the one I'm actually kind of happy about. It's reinforced too. It's got haste and auto repair. It's really fast, and the Tunneler and the Extractor basically do the same thing to two different things. The Tunneler knocks out a 3x3 area, like that. Really nice for checking for diamonds underground. And the Excavator does the same thing except with dirt. So if we wanted to find a nice spot, how about right here? I won't ruin anything. Just go blah. Take out a nice big chunk of dirt. I really like that. And the reason the Excavator is made out of stone, frankly, is because it is just so easy to repair. You just go over right here, the Excavator's kind of hurt. I didn't even bother putting auto repair on this thing, and you just feed it back into itself a few times, and then there we go. All it costs is cobble, and you don't really care about mining speed with this thing, because generally speaking, you can only punch through stone as fast as lag. So let me show you what I'm talking about with the cobalt hammer down underground. So these big old caves we got going off right here is basically my branch mine. It's just so efficient. What I've been doing when I branch mine is you put the Tunneler, and then you put the luck, and then you put the Excavator, so you've got all your bases covered. We'll go over by a few blocks right here. I think this is a good enough spot as any. 2, 3, 4. And then we'll go over by one more right after we excavate this. Go over by one more, and then we start going sideways. This way, we leave a block of 2 in between each one, and now this is what I'm talking about with the speed. I guess technically you go through coal faster, but I mean, this is not instant. You know, it could be faster, so I'll probably will upgrade the speed on this thing at some point, but right now that's not a priority because it goes pretty freaking fast, and it's super limited by durability. So anytime I see something that I want to use fortune on, I just switch to the old Luckinator. Like that. Fortunately, I didn't really get any extra emeralds from that. And you continue branch mining in this fashion. Now, I do make it a point to try and get redstone whenever I can, because that's also used in Tinkers. Go away. Because redstone is also used in Tinkers as something to actually increase the speed of your tools. So that's why I make it a point to grab it. Let this all fall. And then harvest. See, that is the unfortunate side effect of Tinker tools. it just decided to do that for some reason. I don't exactly know why, but yep, falls, and then excavate, fall, excavate, and it's a really nice simple system. So I think that actually covers everything I just wanted to go over. I just wanted to give you a simple tour of the base so far, and what I have planned in the future is doing witchery stuff in the very, very near future. You saw my farms. I'm basically prepping them now. I'm going to start looking into puppets. Voodoo dolls are called puppets for some reason. And then we're going to start basically possibly trolling people. So, hope you guys stick around. See you next time, and I will catch you later. Don't forget to check out the Hermitcraft community on Google+. Hermitcraft.com. Keep you updated on both vanilla and all the modded stuff. Or check out my subreddits, and if you so desire, I have a Patreon account where you can get special benefits, get possibly mentioned in a video. That seems like something up your alley. Anyways, that takes care of us for right now. I'll talk to you guys next time.